IT, I'm sure you all heard the importance of having an AA degree and then transferring to get your bachelor's degree. But what is so important is that as a student, you take advantage of any of the IT certifications that we have that are available here at Prince George's Community College. What I hear so many times are students who have just graduated with their AA degree or bachelor's degree, trying to get jobs and coming back to us because although they took A+ or IT fundamentals or networking or security, they never got the certification. And now they cannot get a job because the federal government and different areas require you to have these certifications in order to be in compliance. So for instance, you could be hired, you could have a bachelor's degree, graduated with a 4.5, have all these honors, but if you do not have those certifications, that is only like having the silver medal in the Olympics. If you want to have the gold medal, you need to get those certifications so that you are making more than, you're making into those six figures. So it's very important that you do take advantage of that. You talk to your instructor. There's all types of study guide information that we have, that I have, and that your instructors have to help you be successful in passing those certification exams. And I don't know if any of you know, but being a student at Prince George's Community College, you are eligible to get all of those vouchers at a discounted rate. So for instance, the Security Plus voucher would cost you close to $500 if you were to purchase it on the outside. Being a student at the college, it will only cost, not only, but it just is a reduced rate of $240. And as a student here, you can purchase as many vouchers as you want. If you wanted to work backwards and you never took A+, but you still want to get the certification, you can still purchase those vouchers to get those. It is so, I just cannot stress how important it is for you as an IT major to get those certifications. So let's
sorry, I'm not sure what.
That's okay. I think we have Mr. Kirk Smallwood here now. Let me just do a quick introduction. We have him in the correct room, everything going good. So Kirk Smallwood serves as the Senior Vice President of Business Development for the U.S. academic market in Comptia. He's responsible for working with thousands of secondary and post-secondary school partners. And the academic partner program that he works with provides schools and other not-for-profit training entities with valuable resources designed to help schools incorporate Comptia certifications into the curriculum and our programs. And he is going to talk about the importance of these certifications, where you can start, where you can go, and how important they are for you to have. So with further ado, I would like to introduce Kirk Smallwood.
Thank you so much. We'll try this again. So yeah, I'm not going to go through, I think I already went through what I'm going to discuss. We'll talk about Comptia, the state of the industry with IT, some misnomers about technology and learning tech, the IT skills gap, what's needed to help solve some of these issues, certifications, the importance thereof, why they're out there, what they represent, our certs and learning materials, specifically about our Comptia certifications. What are some things you can do as students? And some complementary resources that you should absolutely take advantage of. These are some things that we've developed that are extremely valuable, and just because they're free doesn't mean they're not valuable. So please take advantage of them. We'll go over some of that. So again, a little bit about Comptia as an organization. We are a not-for-profit IT association. We are global. If you go throughout the world, we have offices in various countries and locations and regions. So we are a global IT organization. And so as an association, what we do is we bring the industry together, and we do this through several different ways. We bring them together through networking. So we create communities where specific aspects of IT can talk about their issues facing their neck of the woods, whether it be getting more women in IT or cybersecurity or challenges that small businesses involved in IT have. Whatever it may be, we create communities and environments where they can share their issues, and then we hope to develop solutions for those issues. Our first certification, A+, got started because of the industry coming together and recognizing that we had a severe challenge, and recognizing who was qualified to fill help desk type jobs or basic IT support level jobs. So there was nothing to really qualify these people. And so the idea was to create an IT certification, and hence our first certification, A+ was born. We also provide lots of research around what's going on in the industry now, where we expect it to go in the next several years. What are the trends happening? That research is extremely important to businesses that follow us because they can then shape their workforce or shape their focus on where things are heading. Certifications, we'll talk about those a lot more, but we are the largest vendor neutral IT certification body in the world. When you look at IT certifications, you'll see either non-vendor specific like ours. In other words, we don't focus on a specific company's products per se. We kind of encompass everything. And then you have vendor specific products, which once you kind of determine which field you're getting in of within IT, then you would probably start to take more vendor specific products. But we're the ones that are the foundation, especially. We're the ones that are non-vendor specific, if that makes sense. And then philanthropy, we do some great aspects of philanthropy where we really focus on getting folks, whether they be minorities or underserved populations, where we hope to get them qualified and placed in IT jobs. So we do a lot of work with really underserved populations. Let me actually start my slideshow here so you're seeing the full page. So the state of the industry. So I don't think this would surprise anyone, but the global IT industry is in the T range, the trillion range, $5.1 trillion. That is growing exponentially. I don't think, again, this would be any surprise. If you look around you and see what's going on, there is IT everywhere. You see robotics taking over where many people used to do a lot of these jobs because they're more efficient, they're more accurate, they can do more, they never tire. So, next time you walk into a Starbucks, you may see a machine like this pouring coffee for you. You just never know. One of the challenges is there are machines looking to take over as many jobs as possible because of how efficient they are. So there are things like smart cities where they are trying to utilize technology to make things as mobile, sustainable. They're helping with energy management. They're helping with the environment. They're helping with transporting people back and forth, with shopping, whatever it may be. You're seeing smart cars, obviously. There's more and more in this area, certainly. I know you see in the Northern Virginia area and DC area, you see so many Teslas out there. And if an automaker isn't involved in making a smart car, they are working to do that very quickly because of you don't think these gas prices are going to make people want to buy smart cars. So there's just technology everywhere. You're seeing such an emphasis on things like drone technology now. There are drone types of degrees or specialization in various schools now because there's so many applications you can use for them, whether they be agriculture or environmental disasters or building or what have you. There's just so many different types of ways people are figuring out how to use drones, for example. And those are just a few examples. Obviously, wherever you look, IT is everywhere. IT is almost not an industry because it's within every industry. There's not a single industry that doesn't need IT support. One time somebody said, well, what about farmers? And I said, oh, I got you there too, because one of our member companies is a IT solutions provider, but he actually is a farmer as well. And he uses all this technology. I actually got to see it. I went on his farm. He has this tractor that is rigged out with all this navigation device and technology. The tractor could drive itself if he wanted to. The tractor knows exactly where to go on his field through GPS. It knows exactly where it is within like an inch. And it knows like where, for example, to drop fertilizer or seed or whatever, when not to. So it's very efficient. It's not wasting anything. But anyway, he teaches other farmers around the US on how to utilize technology to be more efficient farmers. So everyone is using technology in some form or fashion. Currently, just in the US alone, there are more than 934,000 open IT jobs. This is our number one problem we're facing as an industry. It's not enough IT workers. There is huge demand, and it's only going to get worse. I've seen projections where in the next 5 years, this number might grow to 1.2 million in the US alone, meaning there's going to be 1.2 million open IT jobs and not enough qualified people to fill them. So this is a problem in our industry. Now, what you're also seeing from job seekers, what is good and what gives me some good feelings in terms of this is that you're seeing, if you look at US employer tech job posting trending, you are seeing tech job seekers engage in career exploration activities and training at higher rates than other occupations. So we're starting to see more and more people think about tech, which is great, because you can see on the right-hand side, these are just some of the different types of IT jobs out there. The nice thing about tech is there's such a variety of different tech jobs, whether it be a software engineer or a cybersecurity engineer or a database administrator, web developer. There are just so many different types of flavors and aspects of IT you can jump in. So there's really something for everybody. But these are just a sampling of some of the different types of postings you'll see out there. The other nice thing about IT jobs, some people think, well, there's so many IT jobs out there because they don't pay well, right? And it's actually the complete opposite. Median tech salaries are more than double that of non-IT jobs. I'll say that again. Median tech salaries are more than double that of non-IT jobs. Think of supply demand, right? When there's such a demand for IT workers, the pricing is higher, the pay is higher. You're seeing, here's just a sampling just in one particular tech job, which is IT support specialist. These are entry-level tech jobs. You're seeing in just a sampling of a few states, they are paying more and more to try to get these folks in there. So this is salary changes just based on 2019 to 2020. Don't have all the 2021 information yet, but just you can see how things are trending. Illinois, for example, is paying 8% higher than they did the year before for tech support specialists. New Mexico, 5.9. West Virginia, 10% higher. So the demand is not going away. We can't fill these jobs fast enough. But the nice thing is the pay is there. So I don't want the thought of like, well, tech doesn't pay much, that's why they're struggling finding people. It's actually the opposite. And I'll get into a little bit more in a second as far as like why we aren't finding enough people right now. Now, I think this slide is kind of interesting. So there are a lot of things we call emerging tech, meaning these are things that are not fully mature, these aspects of technology, but these are things we've been hearing about for several years, but they're still considered emerging. Things like automation or machine learning or big data, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things. These are all things that at least I've certainly been hearing about for years. I think a lot of people have heard about some of these things. Maybe they don't always know exactly what they are, but we've been hearing about like 5G wireless buildouts for several years now. It's just that now there are many job postings that are truly focused on these specific emerging tech type jobs. So there is tremendous growth in these areas, and which you can hopefully see via this chart. And then the nice thing is that organizations now are focusing more and more on realizing they have an issue. They have an issue with their tech staff in that they need to place more emphasis on making sure they are up to date on their skills when it comes to tech jobs. For years, this was kind of ignored, and now they understand there's a big focus. If your cybersecurity is not up to par because your workers aren't up to speed, well, that's a problem. That's like one mistake that could affect the whole organization. It could affect the future of the business. So you're seeing more and more organizations out there understanding that like we need to be looking to upskill our employees. And it doesn't matter whether it's a large, a medium, or a small firm. These are really important aspects of the tech workforce within companies. And again, that correlates into certifications, and we'll talk about that more, but certifications are that stamp of validity that the person can do the job. So that's why certifications are becoming even more important. And the skills gap overall is just a huge issue right now when it comes to IT, because there are several ways, I mentioned a couple of them, where skills gap can negatively impact the entire business. You can imagine if you have an IT staff that's where the skills gap is large, they may have lower levels of productivity. They don't necessarily know what they're doing, or they can't do it quickly. There may be lower levels of customer service. Let's say the IT support team is not up to speed, then your customer support may be providing basic customer service for your team. There may be issues with their laptops, with their telecom systems, what have you. They may not be able to perform customer service as well as they would like to. There may be lower sales or profitability because maybe their systems aren't as such where they can manage more sales. Maybe their systems are getting overloaded. There's insufficient speed for new marketing. There's insufficient cybersecurity. There are just so many potholes you can fall into when the IT staff is not up to speed. And I would argue it says 8 in 10 employers are concerned about the IT skills gap. I would say the 2 out of 10 that are not concerned are probably going to be suffering the consequences here really soon, because everyone should be concerned about this. So I'd love to meet the 2 out of 10 that are not concerned, because I'd love to see what they're doing. The nice thing is also is you're hearing so much about diversity and inclusion and equity. The nice thing is that businesses are getting more and more proactive about this. So you're seeing businesses out there that are wanting to get more diverse. They're wanting to get more inclusive. And again, it doesn't matter whether you're a large, medium, or small firm. So there's some varying degree as far as like, are they doing this because it's altruistic and it's the right thing to do? Of course, it's the right thing to do. We want to be more diverse. Some people are doing it strategically, just that it's good for business. It's just good for business. It's good to be able to show how diverse you are. Bottom line is, I guess I don't really care why they're doing it. The good thing is that they're doing it. They're looking to be more diverse. The challenge with companies, though, is identifying goals in which they can measure how effective they are being at DEI, and converting their what may be good intentions to actionable policies and outcomes. So there's a lot that's still being figured out there. But again, the good news is that there should be more opportunity for our diverse population, which is nice. So I mentioned before a little about some of these. So there are absolutely some misunderstandings about tech careers, and that is a direct influence on why we have such a skills gap. In other words, sometimes people self-select themselves out of a tech career because of these misunderstandings that are out there. Let's go through a few of them. One, you have to be a math or science genius to learn IT skills. The answer is false. There's absolutely no requirement to be a math or science genius to learn IT. Now, depending on how far you go, do you need to know some math or science? Sure. But to get into IT, at least initially, you do not need to be a math or science genius. In fact, there's just sometimes I think there's almost too much emphasis on math in general, to be honest, because it's how are you going to apply this stuff? But I talked about our foundation. Our foundation works with adult workforce folks, people that have already been in the workforce, maybe in like food service or the military or anything that may be kind of volatile. And these are folks that have absolutely no math or science. They're not math or science geniuses. They don't really have much background in that, but yet they're coming over into IT and they're doing swimmingly well in IT jobs. So this is like a misnomer that we just have to stop thinking this. You can do this even if you're not a math or science genius. Second, all tech jobs are coding jobs, meaning like you're creating websites and things like that. That is also false. Now, software and web development, that's a huge portion of tech jobs, but it's only one portion. So the challenge where this comes in is people think like, oh, well, I don't want to do coding. Well, that's fine. There are other things you can do. There are database, there's cybersecurity, there's support specialists, there's network architect. There's so many, as I showed before, there's so many different types of tech jobs. But a lot of people think like, oh, well, tech, that's just coding. And that's not true. That's a big portion of it, but that's not everything. One of the challenges we have is that you have some really great programs like Girls Who Code or Hour of Code and things like that have gotten so much mind share about that coding is IT. But it's one part of IT. And we need people to understand that it is just one part of IT. So just because you don't like coding doesn't mean you can't do a tech job. Also, there's a misnomer. There are no IT jobs outside of big cities. In other words, you got to go to DC, New York, San Francisco to work in tech because that's where a lot of the big tech companies are. But that's false because as I talked about before, even if you're not a tech company per se, even if you're not Apple or Google or Microsoft, every company has tech needs. Every one of them, a law firm, a hospital, everyone has people that they need to help support their tech infrastructure. So you can go to any city, anywhere, there's going to be businesses that have tech jobs. And by the way, a lot of these jobs you can do remotely anyway because of technology. I work remotely. My company is actually based in Chicago. I'm in Fairfax, Virginia. When I have a problem with my computer, my tech person in Chicago does a remote log into my computer and help solve whatever the issue is. They can see what I'm seeing and they can go in and fix it that way, unless it's like some kind of like hardware program or problem where I've got to take it into to a repair shop or something like that, but that rarely happens. So you can do IT anywhere. This is a big one. So an IT job requires a 4-year degree, true or false? And that is also false. There are, for the academic space, our sweet spot, in other words, the types of schools that we work with the most are actually community colleges. Community colleges are in a fantastic position to get people into tech jobs because you can get an associate's degree and then the relevant certifications while you're doing it. And then you are very qualified to get it set up in at the least an entry-level tech job. But, over decades and decades, we have probably as parents are maybe most at fault, I don't know, by saying like, you must go to a 4-year college. That is what you're doing. You are going to get a 4-year degree. Well, that may not be the best path in tech. I talk to students who have gotten 4-year degrees, and then they unfortunately have to come back and get certifications because that's what the job is asking for. A 4-year degree is nice in many aspects, but if you're not getting certifications along the way, you may come out of school after spending hundreds of thousands of dollars and then still be looking to get more education and certifications in IT. So many companies also don't truly understand that they should be advertising not for somebody, in particular jobs, not for somebody that has a 4-year degree, but for somebody who has, like say, a 2-year degree and certifications. They don't always realize what they're asking for. So we're trying to provide a lot of education around these businesses that, like, look, one reason you're having a hard time finding tech people is that you're selecting people out before they even apply. You're saying they need 4-year degrees and they don't. So it's part of the challenge we have as an IT organization is to educate businesses that they're looking for sometimes the wrong candidate. Dude, you don't have to be a dude to work in IT. Is this true or false? And the answer, I hope, which is evident, is this is false. Only about a quarter of IT workers are women, but we need way, way more. It's just unfortunate that, again, many women kind of self-select themselves out of it. They think, well, IT is not for women. But there's as much opportunity for a woman as there is for anybody. We need more women. We need more diversity. And just because you're a woman doesn't mean you can't be in IT. I know lots of women that are working in IT that love it. They absolutely love it. So anyway, my hope is that if nothing else, we can get at least more women to look into IT. We need more of them tremendously. Now, I talked about the 4-year degree aspect of it. The nice thing is that there are more and more HR professionals that are looking to relax or eliminate the 4-year degree requirement for job candidates when it comes to IT. They are starting to acquiesce to saying, okay, well, maybe we don't need a 4-year degree. So you're seeing about 42% of them saying, they support this trend that's starting to relax 4-year degree requirements. So I reported how that was a major issue. So the nice thing is there is some momentum in getting those relaxed. Now, some businesses, 35%, are saying, yeah, I support it, but just I'm not sure if I'm buying it yet. I'm not positive if we're going to get there fully or not. So there's some still on the fence. So we're making progress, which is nice. Some of it is just a lack of understanding of certifications and credentials and what they mean. Some of it is like, wow, this is a big change. Like it's one thing to say like, yeah, we'll relax a little bit, but this is a big sea change. We're looking at hiring people that don't have a 4-year degree. It's a little bit of a leap of faith in their eyes. But again, the nice thing is that it is trending towards people looking more towards people that don't have 4-year degrees if they have other things like certifications. So what do we hear a lot out there from businesses about what are they looking for? And the answers are several. So one is less knowledge, more skills. Like, it's nice that you know stuff, but can you apply it? Can you actually do the job? And that's why the challenge is with the 4-year degree. The 4-year degree is, and most schools will wrongly say this, like, come here to get a degree and knowledge. But what businesses are looking for are skills. Can you do this stuff? Can you apply that knowledge? So that's why I say less knowledge, more skills. More training for teachers. One challenge on your poor teachers that they have to deal with is technology is always changing. We have to refresh our certifications every 3 years to keep up with the changing technology knowledge and skills that are out there. So that means the teachers need lots of education as well to be able to teach that stuff. And they're in a tight spot. We provide some education for them, but there is more training that's needed. Soft skills, stop me if you've heard this one. They are looking for, they being employers, they are looking for people that can look somebody in the eye, they shake someone's hand, they show up on time. That's a big step. I mean, there are companies that tell us, like, shoot, if you can just deliver people that have the soft skills, we'll try to figure out the training for them and the skills. But there's a big challenge right now, just finding people with soft skills there. Just people, again, that just do the basic minimum of being a good teammate, being a good employee that shows up on time and listens and tries to better themselves. Just things like that, they're having a hard time finding, believe it or not. We have to challenge the confidence gap. We have to challenge people to say, like, kind of what I was just saying, like, look, just because you're not a math or science genius, it doesn't mean you can't do IT. Like, we need more people to understand that they can do this. Anyone can get into IT, really. It's possible. There is a job for everybody. And then we find a lot with Generation Y and Z. They're very particular about the types of experience that they want to see on the job workforce. Like, once they're in the job, they want to see, like, cross training. They want to see, like, what it's like to do someone else's job so they can understand how to work with them. They want more learning options. They want to keep learning, but they like to be able to learn, remotely, like on their phone, or, wherever they want, whenever they want. Tell me, that doesn't seem surprising, right? We're kind of at this point now where we want to be able to access anything whenever we want, wherever we want. And so they want learning options that allow them to do stuff self-paced, or they're on the job, or what have you. They want more autonomy and flexibility. They want to work from home. They want to be able to work from home when they want to. They want to be able to go into the office when they want to. So businesses are having to adjust. They want to be able to do both. They want more simulations and gaming. They want to learn through gaming and simulations, which I would too. I wish I had more of that when I was growing up. I'm a lot older than probably most of you guys. So it would have been great to have more of that. But the thing is, it's out there now, but they just want more of it. It's a really great tool for learning, simulating an experience or gaming. It makes it fun. And they want more e-learning options. Again, as I said, they want to be able to access this whenever they want, from their phone, from their tablet, from their laptop. This is how they expect to learn these days. So companies have to adjust. They have to adjust for these generations in order to in how they learn. So let's talk about certifications. I've been talking about them some, but haven't dove into them directly yet. But let's do that now. So, as I said, more and more employers are looking at certifications to play a key role in the hiring process. And to them, IT certifications are a reliable predictor of a successful employee. If you're an employer and you feel that something is a reliable, again, hiring is a crapshoot. They're looking for people, they're going through resumes, they're trying to do the best they can. There are lots of people applying for jobs. What's going to set somebody apart? Well, the good thing is more and more employers are looking at IT certifications as that thing to set the employee apart. If they're looking, in other words, if they're looking at somebody's resume that has, maybe a degree in IT, but they don't have relevant certifications, they're not going to get a leg up on the person that does have the relevant certifications. And the reason is because chances are in their IT departments already, they have workers that have certifications. They see how well they're doing. Why wouldn't we want to hire more folks that have that same type of background and certifications? That only makes sense, right? They're looking at who are the employees that we have that are good. We want to get more of them. Well, our IT staff has these certifications. Why wouldn't we look for that in new employees? They make great employees. I'm going to talk a little bit about the specifics of some of the characteristics of certified folks, but the importance of certifications is growing, which is great. People are starting to understand the importance. And it doesn't matter whether it's a large business, whether it's a small to medium-sized business. When you look at their priorities, certifications are becoming more and more important in either side. So that's good. That's very good. Now, some interesting byproducts of certified workers. What we found was, this is almost something we kind of stumbled upon, but these are some characteristics of certified IT staff. They are better able to understand new technologies. That's good, right? Because technologies are changing all the time. I showed you a whole list of emerging technologies. Things change all the time. If you have staff that's able to pick up on that stuff faster, why wouldn't you want somebody like that? They're more productive. They get more done during the day. They get things done quicker, faster, more effectively. They're more insightful at problem solving. This is a big part of jobs, in any person's jobs. How do you solve problems? I'm going through that now with our company. We're having a retreat tomorrow where we're trying to solve some problems that are getting in our way. How do we do that stuff? If I've got a whole team of folks that are really good at problem solving, that's going to make my session tomorrow a lot easier. People that are good at that type of stuff. Better project management skills. In really any job, you have to do some kind of project management. It doesn't matter if it's IT or anything else. In some ways, everyone's a project manager to some extent. Your teachers are project managers. They're trying to plan out their day. They're trying to get from point A to point B with their students. How do they do that? How do they plan out their day? How do they plan out what they focus on? So every job really has project management skills. And then better communication skills. I talked some about that. Do you look somebody in the eye? Are you prompt? Do you shake their hand? Do you do all the stuff that just creates a really good impression? Are you good at working with other teams? And the cool thing is certified staff, again, tend to have more of these skills. So again, that's a reason why certifications are very valuable to employers. Now, I mentioned how our certifications, we're the largest vendor neutral IT certification body in the world. So they don't focus on any one specific vendor's products like Cisco's, for example. But why I say they are truly by the industry for the industry is when we create a certification, we are bringing the industry together. They are coming in and first of all, let me back up. First of all, when we create a certification, first we see, is there a need? Is there some job role? Is there some IT job that is like growing now and in the future that we expect to be a big part of the IT industry? If so, check, next step. Let's do a job task analysis. Okay, what specifically is that role? What does that person do in that job? Okay, so what are the aspects of that job? What are the skills they need to have? What knowledge do they need to have? What does that person do on a daily basis for that specific job role or roles? Then we bring in subject matter experts. These are people out in the industry. These are people that maybe are doing these jobs now, or they're in the IT industry, and we actually bring them into our headquarters and we pretty much lock them in a room for a week or two to help us literally write the exam. So we're not writing the exam. Comptia is not writing the exam. The subject matter experts are helping us write the exam because they're the experts. So we're not doing this on our own. We're doing this with the industry. And then we have to perform ongoing maintenance. So our certs are ANSI ISO accredited, which is a accrediting body. And if you are ANSI ISO accredited, you must refresh your certs every 3 years. Our biggest customer is the Department of Defense. They mandate, I think it's up to 8 certs of ours now, meaning if you're in certain levels in the Department of Defense, you must have these certs and these certs and these certs. And we have, I think, 8 of our certs in that mix there, where depending on the job you have, you must have ours. But because of that, if we're going to use your certs, then you better keep them up to date. So we're ANSI ISO accredited, which means we have to update them every 3 years.
Can you also let them know, Kirk, that these are national? These are not just by state, they're national.
Oh, these are not just national, they're global. These, you could go in other countries around the world with a Security Plus certification, and it's almost like a passport of sorts. People will know what you're talking about. People know Security Plus, for example. So it's not just thank you for bringing that up though. But they're not just national. They're not statewide. They're not nationwide. They are global certs. So they are transferable, you could say. And then the nice thing about our tests is you can test them anytime, online, anywhere. We launched recently remote proctoring, where you can take your test either in like a Pearson VUE test center, which you may have on campus, or some other brick and mortar business that has a Pearson VUE test center, or you can do it in the comfort of your own home, as long as you are in a secure environment, like you have a door, there's nothing on the walls around there, you don't have anyone else in there, you don't have a pet in there or whatever, because the online proctors will be like, nope, what's that? That's a dog back there, get him out of there. That dog might help you cheat. So anyway, but that's why I say our certs are created by the industry for the industry. We are not doing this by ourselves. we are qualified. We could make a certification in any field if we wanted to. We are qualified. We are experts in the process of making a certification, but we don't have all the knowledge needed to do every certification. That's why we do it with the industry. And so you can imagine, if the industry is helping us create it, then why wouldn't they be looking for it when they're hiring? And that's the key. They helped us create it. Therefore, why don't you have Security Plus? Why don't you have A Plus? That's what we're looking for. We helped create it. So that's why they're so important. So let me go over a little bit about our specific certifications. Some of these you may be very familiar with. We have what we call our core skill certification. So this is kind of almost the backbone, you might say. Now, we do have one certification that's not what we call job ready. We have this ITF Plus is one called IT Fundamentals. And this is almost like a digital literacy type of certification where really, I think everyone should have ITF Plus because it gives you some good knowledge about just IT in general. You know, what is cloud? How does coding work? You know, some basic aspects of cybersecurity, networking, just some basics on all that stuff. It's kind of an inch deep and a mile wide, but it's hopefully lights the spark of someone who might think, wow, that's really cool. I want to get into IT. I want to learn more. And then you get into our what are job ready certs. In other words, people are looking for these in their job ads. They might say, we're looking for someone with A plus, Network plus, Security plus background. So A plus, of course, is our help desk, our entry level job cert. A plus, it's been around forever, is the standard for getting into an entry level tech job in help desk or tech support. You move on to Network plus and then Security plus, and those three as the backbone. Then we have a couple of different pathways you can go from there, whether it's infrastructure with Server Plus, Linux Plus, and Cloud Plus, or cybersecurity with Pen Test and CISA Plus. So Pen Test is penetration testing. So that's like testing the how solid your cybersecurity network your network is, based on trying to attack it, but like in an ethical way. So that's penetration testing. And then CISA, cybersecurity analyst, that's going at it from the other end where you're on the defend side. So pen test is kind of attacking to see where the weaknesses are, and cybersecurity analyst is learning how to defend those attacks. It's more of like the defensive side. And then CASP is advanced security practitioner. That's our most advanced cert. You wouldn't get that until quite a ways down. And then we have some other professional skills like Project Plus, which is around project management, and Cloud Essentials, which is kind of like for business people that are making decisions about cloud, and then CTT, which is Certified Technical Trainer. So this is our pathway. But again, the core of it is A plus, Net plus, Security plus. From there, you go into one of the different pathways. Now, we're really excited because we just launched our newest certification, and what is kind of the dawn of a new pathway for us around data analytics. We just launched our Data Plus cert on the 28th of February. And data analytics, if you haven't noticed, is everywhere. This is not an IT cert per se. This is a cert that you could be used in IT degrees, but also business degrees, marketing, management, whatever. There is data everywhere. If you think about it, every business uses it or will be using it if they haven't already. So Data Plus, if you think about it, data is almost the new, it's kind of the fourth industrial revolution. You know, the first revolution was around steam and water power and mechanization. Then the second revolution was assembly line, electricity, and mass production. Third was the information age, kind of the dawn of IT, space age, automation. But now this fourth revolution is where data is included. And data, somebody made a good analogy of this. Data is almost the new oil or gold. It's like almost the new currency, because within data is kind of like the secrets to everything. Within data, taking a bunch of information, analyzing it, sorting it, putting it in a way that can be digestible, and seeing where the trends are, seeing where the opportunities are. That is what businesses are looking for now. They need people that can do this stuff, to take all this data and translate it and make sense out of it, to help guide them in their business decisions and what they do as organizations. So this is huge. Sorry, I missed some things here. But anyway, there's a shortage of data analytics skills again, when we make a certification, there has to be a reason for it. There has to be some demand out there where there's no shortage of demand for data analytics. There is also a really wide variation in job titles and responsibilities. We're kind of at that stage where there's a lot of different names of data analytics type jobs, but there's not necessarily any consistency about it. And there's not really a lot of consistency in terms of educational programs that are out there and credentials. So we hope to help solve a lot of that. Now, again, with a lot of these different types of jobs I'm talking about, there is tremendous opportunity there. In the last 12 months alone, we found 730,000 job ads within the US alone looking for some type of data analysis skills. So tons of jobs out there that are looking for people that can do this stuff. And there's a big projected growth of 22% over a 10-year period of these types of jobs. So this number is going to keep going up. And then, as I mentioned, this is not just an IT job. A lot of these fall outside of traditional IT occupations because, again, you have data analytics everywhere in any type of job. Every job has some type of data they're trying to understand and analyze so they can better focus their efforts. And again, median annual salary, 75K, pretty darn good. Of course, it's going to vary depending on market, but these median salaries are again higher than traditional non-IT jobs. So that's good stuff. Now,
Kurt, you have about 10 minutes left, and I just want to make sure I've been trying to answer. There's lots of questions I've been trying to answer. But
sorry.
A couple questions. Kind of just quickly, can you add this one question a student has? Sure. Can we get a job after only taking the A+? I'll say not taking, but I'll say passing the A+ certification.
That is definitely possible. I know of employers that have hired with, say, a high school degree and then A+. That can certainly get you in the door. Now, again, it depends on the organization, but is it possible? Yes, it is definitely possible. It is definitely possible. And what I was going to do is just give you a few things of what you can do. Whatever job role you go in, I don't care what industry you end up in, look for the top industry recognized certs. Again, if they're like ours, then they're made working with the industry, and make sure you take the exam. Even if you don't pass it, or even if it doesn't count towards your degree, at least take the exam because it gets you that experience. If you get into IT, you're going to have to take exams along the way. So you might as well get used to taking them. Again, even if it's not counting maybe towards your degree. Some schools have them absolutely count towards the degree. Some schools do not. Either way, you absolutely should take the exam. It's really important.
Can I interject for 1 second?
Sure.
Just him talking about if you, for instance, never took Security Plus at Prince George's Community College, but you went out and took the certification. If you pass that certification, you can bring that global certification back to one of our counselors, and you can actually get 3 college credits. So any of those certifications from IT fundamentals all the way up to CYSA Plus, if you have those certifications, you can get college credit without ever stepping in a classroom here on campus.
That is a fantastic point. Thank you, Barbara. And then also any work-based learning you can do. We encourage schools a lot to try to set this up for you. But any work-based learning experience you can do, whether it be taking a tour of somebody's business during the day that's local and just kind of see how their IT folks operate, whether it's an apprenticeship, whether it's having someone from a job come and speak to your classroom, any of those things are really, really good, but just helps get you a little bit more experience on that. I want to make sure I make you aware of this resource here. Here's a link to the site, but we created this great interactive roadmap. And so you can click on any one of different types of core IT careers, IT support specialist, IT networking, cybersecurity, software, data specialist, and you can see the different types of number of job roles that are out there in these particular types of areas, anticipated job growth, median national salaries. And then if you click on learn more, then you can start seeing, you'll see a whole pathway of different types of certifications that will get you there, not just Comptia's, but say Comptia's, plus Cisco's, plus Microsoft's, plus Oracle's, whatever it may be, depending on the path. You can see the different types of certification that you can expect to get along the way in order to get into those jobs, whether it be an entry level or more intermediate or more advanced levels of those different types of jobs. So I really encourage you to check that out. This is one of the free resources I was talking about that's really valuable. It kind of gives you a visualization of where you need to get to from here to here. So definitely use that. Another one is called CyberSeek. And this is so it's cyberseek.org. And this is specifically for cybersecurity types of jobs. So for those of you thinking to get into cybersecurity, what you can do is you can click on any state and you can see kind of a heat map of what the ratio of are in that particular state of how many cybersecurity jobs they have, and then how many workers they have that can actually do those jobs, like how many qualified workers. And a spoiler alert is for every state, there's a very low ratio of, there's a poor ratio of number of qualified workers to the IT jobs. So this helps give you an idea, though, of different cybersecurity pathways, again, salaries, different types of certs, and so forth. So that's cyberseek.org, and that's a really good site that we developed working with Burning Glass, who does a lot of data around jobs and jobs availability. That is it. I wanted to leave more time for questions, but that's happy to answer any other questions as you see fit, or contact me afterwards.
So someone did say thank you. Does Kurt mind providing his email address? You can see his email address is on this last slide there, both his LinkedIn and his work email. So you guys can see that is there. What type of Comptia certification should I take if I want to work as a web developer or a software developer?
That's a great question. That is actually not an area that we do a lot of focus on. We have not traditionally gotten into certifications for web development or software development. Could we in the future? Possibly. It's something that we've looked at for a while. It's just not something that we've jumped into to this point. And to my knowledge, there's not really a lot of certifications out there in terms of web development. A lot of times, like, what they want to see is just like, show me some examples of your work, as opposed to, an actual certification. But it's something that's always on our radar. But as of right now, we do not have anything that's specifically for web development.
All right. Someone asked, if I was to pass only the Security Plus, will it be implied that we also know the A Plus and the Network Plus?
That's a great question. So probably if you're smart enough to pass Security Plus without having A Plus and Network Plus, yes. Then A, you're really, really smart and you could figure it out. Or B, you've done some work experience that has made up for the qualifications of A Plus and Network Plus. I wouldn't recommend. In other words, you either should have A Plus or Network Plus, or you should have experience in doing the different types of aspects of A Plus and Network Plus. We put, if you go to our website and you click on our certifications, you'll see, like, if you click on Security Plus, it will say either these certs or this type of experience, for this long.
Right. It's like 5 years. It's like 5 years in the security field almost.
Yeah, so it depends. It depends on. It varies from cert to cert, but man, if you can pass Security Plus, I would say as long as you can do the other stuff, fine. Because there's going to be a certain assumption that, oh wow, you got Security Plus and you probably know A Plus and Network Plus. But if you can do that stuff, great. If not, I would maybe work backwards a little bit and do some of that stuff, or at least be familiar with that stuff. Go over the objectives of each cert and be like, yep, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. Nope, need more work on there. But exactly. Yeah, generally we have them in an order for a reason, because it gets you, it's stepping stones. So.
Right. So another question, well, I can answer, do we have promotions or vouchers? Again, yes, we have discounted vouchers for all of the Comptia certifications. You also want to check with your professor, because we do get various grants where we actually purchase bundles of vouchers, specifically in the Network Plus and the Security Plus. So you want to make sure you do check with your instructor to see if they have any free vouchers that are available. Let's see. David.
Can I mention something real fast on that?
Sure, go ahead.
We have also, if for some reason the school cannot provide the discounted vouchers, we do at the least have our, I'm trying to find the link to it. We do have what's called an academic store, where if you it will validate that you are an actual student of a school, and you can go in there and get the same discount that Prince George's gets as being an academic partner. I'm going to put the link right here. So again, if you want to purchase something on your own, something that the school isn't offering, I do have a store here. Again, it has to validate that you are a student. I put it in the chat there. But if there's something that the school is not providing, you at least can go there and get the same type of discount that the school does through purchasing through us. So hopefully that's helpful.
Hello, Mrs. Smallwood. Is this opportunity and our discount available to graduates of PGCC? Suppose they finish?
Technically no, because what the it is truly only for active students. So it will, what it does is it validates that you are an active student. First, you have to go through and pick your school name. And then somehow in its database, we didn't develop it, but we work with a partner that does it. It's called Sheer ID. And it validates that you are a current student. And then once it does, it'll let you then purchase. But it does, you do need to be a current student, if that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Sure.
Tracy, yes, you students that are on the credit side, if they were to take any of these courses, they can get financial aid for that. The financial aid does not cover the certification exam, but it does cover the cost of an INT 1620 or 1450 or any of those courses. So yes, they can use financial aid. Someone else
I
had
have a
quick-
question for
I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Kirk.
Yeah.
I have a question for Mr. Crismo. It's okay?
Sure.
Yeah, because you just said if we find something in your website that the school is not provided, we can use the same voucher, right?
Sorry, if the as Barbara was talking, like the school does provide vouchers for you. If for some reason they're not providing a particular voucher for you or some piece of content that you want, you can go to that link that I placed there, and you can purchase it yourself, and you get a significant discount as a student.
Okay.
So I was
looking, I
sorry,
was
go ahead.
looking to get a certification on Scrum Master. Do you provide Scrum Master courses or certification?
Yes, we have our own Cert Master content. So we have Cert Master Learn, Labs, and Test Prep. So our Cert Master products you can purchase on there as well.
Okay.
So any other I'm happy to stay on as long as you want me to, or if time's up, that's fine, but I'm happy to answer as many questions as you have time for.
I also had a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What would you say is the hardest part of getting our foot into the IT industry once we've required all the certifications that we need?
Well, if you have the certifications that you need, that's the hardest part, really, because like I said, you'll have, if you applied for an IT job with a degree, they may be looking specifically for the knowledge, skills, and abilities that the certification encompasses. So they may say, "Oh, you don't have A+, huh?" And you may be like, "Well, no." But that's to me the hardest part is one of the hardest parts is the certification itself, because they may have filters set up when they're looking through resumes to be like, all right, look for A+, look for Security+, look whatever. And if you don't have that, then you're an easy one to eliminate. So because they're looking for people with those. So if you have the certs, that's a big first step. And then after that, I have companies that will tell me like, we don't even grant an interview unless you have A+ on your resume. You're just not going to get the interview. So then those certs are going to help get your foot in the door to the interview. What you do from there is up to you.
Awesome.
But the certs help break down a lot of those barriers to at least get you in the door for the interview.
Okay, it's very insightful. Thank you.
Sure.
Guess we can maybe wrap up with one final question. If any of others you have questions, my email is in there. Tracia's email is in there. She's another IT advisor that works with me. And so you can email either one of us. But a student said, I am currently taking Network Plus, but never did IT Fundamentals or A+. Should I backtrack and try to get those certifications? Try to get certified in those two before seeking Network Plus certification?
Well, again, it's kind of similar to the Security Plus thing. There are there are certain steps that you take. A plus is, before you learn Network Plus, you want to know the basics of the hardware itself, right? Through A plus, and how that hardware supports the infrastructure. So it's a little tricky. I mean, can you do it? I mean, I think taking A plus, especially before you take Network Plus, is I feel very confident in saying it's going to help you do better in Network Plus. Could you pass the exam? Maybe so. You may be super smart person and could take Network Plus without doing the other stuff. But again, it depends on what other background do you have. Have you been doing any work in jobs that relate to like A plus? Have you done any help desk roles? If you have experience that replaces A plus, sure, no problem. But if you don't, it's going to be a little tricky. I don't want to say you're setting yourself up for failure, but you're making it harder on yourself if you don't either have the experience or the cert, if that makes sense. So I strongly recommend not jumping too far forward, and definitely taking it step at a time, because you're going to do better on each subsequent cert having that background, having that backbone in A plus or Network Plus or whatever, on the next exam. So I that's not a path I recommend, but could it work for you? Maybe. But I think you're going to set yourself up to be more successful if you do have the preceding certs or the experience or the related experience that the cert requires.
Right. Wonderful. Again, I want to thank you, Mr. Smallwood, for enlightening everyone. It was great. If anybody has any additional questions, he did put his email in the last slide. You can always put Tracy's email and my email in the chat box also. And please, if you could take the survey at the end, I'd really appreciate it. And remember, if you do 2 or more of these, or you get entered in for a gift card, if you do 2 or more classes, you can get a digital badging. So make sure you take advantage of the rest of the week. And everyone have a great Monday afternoon.